I mean, I've been opposed to the expressway from day one. That's been my statement, and I've never equivocated from that, and I'm not going to. That's my position. Simple as that. I've done the maths. It's not in the benefit of the best. It's certainly not in the best interest of the people of Kapiti, so I'm holding to that line. Well, the connectivity, if you live in Palmerston North and want to go to Wellington, is going to be fantastic. But if you want to go from Raumati to Waikanae, it's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be an even worse nightmare than it currently is. East-west is the biggest traffic flows in Kapiti. Internal traffic flows are east-west. People coming from those beaches, because we have a set, there's Waikanae Beach, Otaki Beach, Parahumu Beach, Raumati Beach. They're beach communities. And then you have Otaki Township, you have Waikanae Township, you have Parahumu Township, and Raumati Township, right? So we have these dual-list communities all the way through Kapiti. So there's big traffic east-west flows. Now those east-west flows are going to be hugely interrupted by putting an expressway down the middle of them. They were going to be interrupted anyway with the Western Link Road, but most of the mitigation that was required was taken care of in the plan. What is currently the highway, with some mitigation measures on that works fine. All the NZTA's own stats when they would transit, their own stats showed them that just by putting the Western Link Road in, it was going to take care of all of that for maybe 18 to 20 years, would take care of it anyway. Transmission Gully looks like that's going to be a runner in any event, which won't open for another 10 years at least. But so there was that connectivity. I'm still a big fan of public transport, obviously, and rail transport for rail freight. Now that makes sense. Economically it makes sense now. Can you imagine what the economics are going to be in another 18 years' time? Well, this petrol's not going to get any cheaper. So not only are you going to have 200 truck movements a day coming across Elizabeth Street, at the same time we've got the electrification of the trains through. So there's now a commuter rail service coming across Elizabeth Street every half an hour. Well, the trains are going to go every half an hour, so it means that one train's going to go across Elizabeth Street to the station, and another one's going to come back, and that's a half-hourly process. So every 15 minutes there's going to be a train coming across Elizabeth Street, and 200 trucks. Good luck for the cars getting across Elizabeth Street while they construct this thing for maybe 10 years. So, I mean, that's just another one of the small inconveniences to the Waikanae community, and they're not going to say thanks very much for that at all. There was always a plan for an underpass in Waikanae to get across, to deal with the Elizabeth Street issue, to get across to the railway station. NZTA, in my opinion, have absolutely no intention whatsoever of building that underpass. They are still running with the illusion that they're going to do it. Kapiti Coast District Councils are still deluding themselves that it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen while the expressway's on the books. Why would NZTA say we're going to spend $30 million on an underpass, right, and spend 5 years constructing it when it's just going to be a local road because they're going to have an expressway? So that's the, I'm not saying that NZTA is completely devoid of logic. They are as far as the expressway is concerned, but otherwise, there are number crunchers that have done the maths on this, and they'll be going, if we're going to build an expressway, why would we build an underpass? So what that means is, for the next 5, 10 years, whatever, Waikanae is going to be a zoo. It's going to be an absolute zoo. You've got the construction phase, you've got the electrified rail, and no way of getting to it, and very, very limited parking. Forget about what the price of petrol is going to be, right? So what's going to happen is people are going to say, well, we need to get public transport. How do we get there? It's going to be a huge number of issues. And then $1 billion, you imagine what you could do with the billions of dollars that's going to be spent on these expressways. Imagine what you could do with your public transport network with that kind of money. Fantastic. Envy of the world. Transmission Gully at one stage was 400 million. It's now 1.4 billion, right? So at this stage, well, who knows what the real final cost is going to be. So when you get these official figures of what something's going to cost, forget about it. When was the last time, like KCDC, when was the last time, for instance, they had any project that didn't blow out by millions? They all do. So it's the cost now versus the real cost at the time when you actually do them. Well, I think they're being wildly optimistic to think that from 2011 to 2016 petrol's not going to get more expensive than $2.80 a litre. Of course it is. It's going to get to $2.80 a litre. At that point it'll be, presumably, represent profitability for oil companies. Do you think oil companies are going to say, no, we can't increase our profits? The whole point of capitalism is to increase your profit every year. If you've got a company and you don't increase your profit, you're going to get the chopper, aren't you? That's how it works. So with petrol, with oil, they're either going to have to find more of it, and that's becoming increasingly difficult, or you put the price up. Well, what have they been doing so far? Just keep putting the price up, right? So the price is going to escalate. I mean, really escalate. We got a little glimpse of the future a couple of years ago when there was a spike in the price that went berzoom and everybody went, oh. So everybody freaked out, went, oh, what do we do, what do we do? Suddenly, nobody wanted to know about roads, everybody wanted to know about rail and public transport. Well, of course, that's the future, we got a glimpse of it. What we need to do is say, that is the future, let's deliver it now. And expressways, expressways, it seems crazy now to a lot of people, but you imagine how insane people are going to say we were if we do this in 20 years' time. They'll look back and they go, what were they thinking? These people were lunatics.